Hello everyone, my name is Asyrafchazz and welcome back to yet another One Piece card game video. So recently over the weekend, the Singapore Asia Championship qualifying round, the third one, happened, and this time I attended as a player. So the organizers didn't stream it this time, but the matches were recorded by none other than David from DPP channel, so it will show up on his channel eventually, so look out for that. So it gave me the opportunity to join this tournament as a player, which I was really excited to do. Even though I do love casting and commentating over the tournaments, I really wanted to try my hand at playing. Even though I know I wasn't going to do very well, I still wanted to try it out. So I wanted to give you my perspective of the tournament, what happened, and as well as the matches that I played. My record at the end of the day was 4-3, so 4 wins, 3 losses. After the third loss, you are automatically kicked out from the tournament, which is perfectly fine with me. I wanted to see how far I would go essentially, and I was using none other than the red Luffy leader because I really love the starter deck Luffy. It's my go-to kind of leader, and I made the deck to kind of counter the onslaught of Zoro players that I was expecting, as well as Whitebeard, because Whitebeard was becoming more popular in the OP-Auto metagame. Needless to say, none of my matches had Zoro and Whitebeard in them, but I faced a different leader every single round of the tournament, which is absolutely fantastic. So I'm really happy. So I wanted to make this video to kind of give my experience about playing the tournament and also give some advice to some of the newer players out there who are not really sure about attending big scale tournaments, because there are some things that are worth considering and it will be good to know beforehand especially before you enter like a big scale tournament. And I know the Treasure Cup is coming up for the people in the English release, so this is a great video to kind of segue into that. So for newer players, you know what to expect. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribing if you want to keep up to date with more One Piece card game content. Without further ado, let's take a look at all of my opponents from the championship event itself. Alright, so shout out to all these players that allowed me to take their photo of them with the leader. I asked them for permission beforehand, so it's all good. For those who weren't comfortable being on camera, I just asked them to take the photo of the leader, so you will see later on. But first, I faced a blue-green Sanji, and this was a deck that I wasn't expecting to see at all, which shows that in this tournament, people were just bringing anything that they love to play, which is such a great thing for the One Piece card game, and I'll get into more in depth about that point later on. But first, shout out to Hazik. He was playing a blue-green Sanji and I lost to him because I didn't know how to play against a blue-green Sanji, because in my testing I was just testing against Zoro and Whitebeard. It was a great deck. It had a lot of vanillas, it had a lot of great counter power from blue, such as Love Beam. You have Paradise Waterfall to protect your vanilla creatures, and also because of Sanji's ability, you have the cost reduction, essentially making like even cards such as the 6-cost vanilla Dracul Mihawk from OP-O2 into essentially a 4-cost 8,000 power beater. It was a great deck. Shout out to Hazik, and he watches the channel as well. So Hazik, if you see this, please DM me on Instagram or on Twitter so that I can, share your list with me, so I can share it to the rest of the members of the community as well. Alright, the second game was against Red Green Law. This is Yihang. Shout out to Yihang as well. It was an enjoyable game because we already lost our first game. So, it was very difficult to get into that 8-0 or 7-1 slot, because then you have to win the rest of your games. So essentially this table, we were all just like, you know what, it's fun. We want to just play the games, and it was an enjoyable time. Red Green Law, definitely very viable right now. It was a very close match, and you can see a Red Green Law list that won the Japanese championship event that had just happened like recently. I think at the time of this recording, it literally just happened today. So I'll probably talk about that list later on, because I think Red Green Law is definitely a deck that is viable throughout OP-O1 as well as OP-O2. So you can definitely make the switch and upgrade. For those of you who are enjoying the English metagame, going into the OP-O2, you're good to go, because it will still be viable in the OP-O2 metagame as well. So going into round 3, I faced a Magellan deck, a Magellan leader, and it was like such a surprise to see, because for purple I was expecting to see Kaido at least, but I didn't expect to see Magellan. So really the players were bringing some spice. It was a great deck. It featured the Magellan super rare from OP-O2. He had a lot of impel down synergies using Hannibal as a searcher. He had the 4-cost Jailer Beast blocker as well. So it was very difficult to kind of navigate, because yet again, this was a deck that I had no experience playing. But essentially, we still got there. We got 2-1, but I was still very happy to see Magellan. Going into round 4, I faced a Kinemon deck. This is Kenta, awesome gentleman, and we had a fun match. We ended up talking after the game as well, and his Kinemon deck was very solid. It was very difficult to go through, and me playing Luffy, I was going to the tournament hoping to dodge the Kinemon and the Smoker players, because against another mid-range deck, they tend to have a better late game, you know, with cards such as Odin. Odin was the one that dealt the finishing blow to me, so it was a very fun deck to play against, but also a very challenging deck, because, you know, you got to deal with the Okikus, you got to deal with the 8-cost Odin, and I only had so many answers to his other threats that, you know, at the end of the day, I couldn't answer the 8-cost Odin, and it was the one reason that I lost the game. But still, shout out to Kenta, shout out to his deck as well. And I love that all these players are bringing their alternate art leaders as well, because you gotta show the spice when you're doing the alternate art, and especially when you're playing in a big tournament such as this. Going to round 5, I finally faced the deck that I wanted to face, which was none other than Whitebeard, and I'll talk about why I feel like Whitebeard's a great deck, and once it's set up, it's so difficult to beat, but I geared my deck to kind of beat Whitebeard for a reason, and I'll talk about it later on. Whitebeard, definitely one of the strongest decks, and definitely one of the decks I was expecting to see, although I only saw one Whitebeard player at this tournament. Shout out to Leon, the player in the photo, who played the match with me, and also we were the only ones in our entire table that was playing, because the rest of them all had players who had dropped out. By this point, if you are already like at 3 losses, you are already out of the tournament. But if you have 2 losses, it's very difficult to kind of climb back up to that top 16. At that point, you can drop and go play in side events. But for me, like, my goal for the tournament was to just play it out and see how far I can go, how well I can play. And essentially, I just played. And then now I'm at 3-2. I'm at round 5, going into round 6. And I finally met the Whitebeard. Shout out to Leon. And it was an enjoyable match as well. Round 6, I faced a Kaido deck. Kaido also, I think one of the decks that were kind of prominent in the tournament as well, because you know, it has answers to a lot of the metagame decks out there, such as Zoro, Whitebeard, also for Kinemon and Smoker. And I wasn't expecting to win this one because it came down to the wire, but essentially managed to survive his last attack and had the kill the next turn as well. But against Kaido, it was an enjoyable match. Shout out to Wayne, who was the player in this photo. And we were all, at this point, we're just like, yeah, we're gonna either play. If we can bubble, we bubble. If not, it will be fine. And yeah, we just played it out. 6 rounds in, I'm at 4-2, going to round 7. And then we face the one and only deck that we didn't want to see. And round 7, we faced the deck that we didn't want to see. It was none other than Smoker. But that shows that we faced a different leader at every step of the way, which I really did appreciate, because like it gave me a chance to play against so many decks that I really love. Shout out to SHUPERLUCKY as well. Shout out to Wing Heng, the player in the photo. And he's also another local Singaporean YouTuber. He has the channel SHUPERLUCKY, where they do a lot of box openings. They also open a lot of One Piece stuff as well. So if you want to check them out, link to his channel in the description below. Go check him out, send him some love. He has a lot of OPO2, OPO1 openings on his channel, so you can check it out as well. But it was a great time, because at this point, we were just playing it out. We didn't care about the results. I think everyone at the like feature match table, the table 1s and the first few tables, they had to be really concerned about winning or losing, because if they lost, they may not make it to top 16, and if they win, they are one step closer. But everyone else was just like, you know, I'm just here having fun. All of the players were just talking with each other, and we were all a little bit more relaxed, and that was the vibe that I wanted to go with, because at that point, getting into the top 16 wasn't our priority at all. It was just playing out the matches, and I ended the run for the day at 4 wins, 3 losses. My goal was to actually get 5 wins, 3 losses, but I was glad that my run was stopped by none other than SHUPERLUCKY and playing the Smoker deck. And he played it super well, so shout out to him, and I had an enjoyable time throughout the tournament as well. So the reason why I wanted to keep track of all the decks that I was playing was because I wanted to show people like who don't have the opportunity to join big tournaments such as this, when your time comes and you want to join it, even if you are prepared to face like the majority meta games, such as like for me, I was expecting Zoro, I was expecting Whitebeard, you will still meet a lot of decks that you don't expect. And at the same time, It's a fun way because you can bring whatever spice you want and it will do really well as long as you know and understand your deck. As long as you love the character and you understand the matchups that you're going to play, you will do fine. And yes, One Piece card game does have decks or leaders with higher win percentages, but at the end of the day, play what you love and you'll do one. So this is kind of like breaking down the tips for when you want to join a big tournament as this. Number one, when you pick your deck, you can evaluate the metagame. You can find answers to the best deck out there, but please play a deck that you are comfortable with. The leader and the deck that you play has to be something that you have kind of put time into, and you kind of understand how the mechanics of how you want to use the deck, and you will do decently well to the best of your ability. So that's the first advice I would give to any player who wants to join a big tournament. Play the deck that you love. Number two, go to the place early. That's my second advice. If you want to join and this tournament had, I think, about 409 players. I was there before registration started and people were already queuing up and registering. So I just joined in, got my deck registered, and I went and had breakfast. So, you know, be early for these tournaments. Get your registration out of the way so that you can kind of get your breakfast, get your food in, any preparations that you want to do with the decks, and then you'll be fine after that. Advice number three would be check your sleeves. Make sure you bring extra sleeves. That's the first thing. And secondly, if you have a deck based on the rules of the tournament, you can either have your whole deck not double sleeved, or you can have your deck double sleeved. You cannot have some cards that are not double sleeved and some cards that are double sleeved. So make sure that it's consistent throughout your deck, because it can lead to an unintentional cheating where you want to cut your deck and then feel like, oh, it's a little bit thin. You don't want to run into that judge call. So be sure to make it consistent. If you see that your sleeves are wearing out, if you see that your sleeves are bent in the corner, either replace that particular sleeve or replace the entire set. Get new ones for big tournaments and make sure that they are fine. And the fourth advice I would give you is make sure you check what the tournament organizers require of you. Do you need to fill out a deck list? Do you need to make sure that the deck is in order for a deck check? Some tournaments would require you to have a deck check before the tournament starts. Some will require a random deck checks throughout the tournament, the course of the tournament, like what happened in the previous tournament that I was in. Either way, be sure to check it out. Make sure your list is final, like maybe the night before, and then like write it out so that you don't have to fill it out on the day of. That will kind of clear kind of space in your mind, so you don't have to worry about that while you're trying to register for the tournament. The less mental load that you have before the tournament, the better you will feel. And at that point, advice number 5 is get some freaking sleep before the tournament. I think a lot of people suffer this because they will be planning the decks at like 1 AM before the tournament starts. But I would just recommend you to just, as long as your deck is kind of settled, you know what to play, get some sleep. A good night's rest will definitely do you wonders for the tournament. It will get you with a clear head, and then hopefully you can manage your nerves when you're playing these tournaments. I'm no stranger to playing in situations like this, because my expectations were not to be like the top 16 or top 8. My expectations were to just play it out, so I knew that I didn't have anything to be worried about. If I went 0-3, I'll be fine with it. If you are someone who has that belief that they want to win at top 16, top 8, nerves and misplays are something that you really have to manage. And it's very important for you to manage your stress levels, your expectations of the tournament, and don't succumb to kind of your nerves and any distractions that might affect your play. And this is not like just advice for card games, it's advice for like life in general. Like if you manage your psychological state, you will do fine. And those are the 5 tips that I would recommend to any single player, especially for new ones who intend to join a tournament, especially when the Treasure Cup is coming up, especially when bigger tournaments for the One Piece card game are on the way. If you want me to make a video about like psychological tricks before going into like matches, let me know in the comment section below and I can hopefully do one. This is not an end-all be-all. This is just things that I've learned from watching like from other TCGs, and I'm bringing it to the One Piece card game. So I would love to share it with you guys. Just let me know if you're interested. By the way, if you want to see the top 16, top 8 leaders, DPP channel posted it on his Twitter. So shout out to DPP channel, the GOAT himself. Apparently it was 404 players. The top 8 leaders were 3 Kaido decks, 2 Kinemon decks, 2 kit decks and 1 Zoro. So you can see how the tides have turned for this metagame event, and now green is slowly going up and taking control, and then Kaido has a real strong showing in this tournament as well, so that's great. So the top 2 decks for that round were none other than Eustace Kid as well as Kaido. So because, you know, the top 2 placing players at the tournament essentially share the same prize, so there is no one winner, there's just 2 winners. So essentially this is the list that the first player used. It was Eustace Kid, you know, it had all the same package. 8 cost Eustace Kid is back, baby, dropping the Kinemon for 8 cost kit, and also the secret rare Yamato is in this list, so that's very, very interesting. The rest of it is all your green staples. There is a penguin in there as well as like maybe an early onset blocker, so that's pretty good. And the second top 2 player is using Kaido with the Hannibal Impel Down mini koala package with Sadie in there as well, and with the top end of multiple kings, both ST King and also OPO1 King, as well as the 10 cost Kaido. So you can see that this list is definitely geared towards clearing the board, getting rid of all the threats that your opponent has played, and it's such a great list. I see Shoyu of the Rain as well, because I think this is a tech piece against Zoro, because it clears like 1 cost characters, and Shoyu of the Rain does that really, really well. So take inspiration from this if you like to. We can go in depth in future about these decks individually if you would like me to. Shout out to Noah, YT Noah channel, for posting this as well. Thank you, my good sir. And thank you for sharing as always to David and Noah. But going into the deck I played Luffy. I want to make a video about the deck list that I made, so that if someone is using the starter deck Luffy from OPO1 for the English release and want to transition into OPO2, I can go into more in depth. But it's gonna be a long video if I talk about it now, so we're gonna save that for another video. Just wanted to show you guys that I did use Luffy. I really did enjoy playing with the deck. If I had to join a tournament, then in the next day I would play the same thing. But we did get some goodies. This is the Volume 2 promo pack, as well as the promo pack that has Uta and the rest on it. I'm going to open it up so I can show you guys what I pulled. So first of all, this is the volume pack. And the card that we pulled is none other than Jewelry Bonnie. This is definitely a good promo to have because, you know, first of all, definitely playable. And if I can get a playset of Jewelry Bonnie, I can play with this Bonnie for green decks in the future. Next, let's take a look at the promo cards in this pack. So let's just open it real quick. So you get 5 cards in this pack. I'm pretty sure it will come for the English release as well. Whoo! So first one is the 5 cost 6,000 Ace. Now I have talked about all these promos in a separate video. If you want to see them, link is in the top right corner. So this is Ace. Man, he looks real good in this artwork. It's not foil or anything, but they are really nice looking promos. The second one is Bartolomeo. Damn, he looks really cool. I really love these promo cards because, you know, they are borderless, they are full art essentially, and they look great. Next up, we have my main man, Jinbei. Look at how menacing he looks. And this is a Shichibukai Jinbei. Man, the artwork looks great and the cards look, you know, awesome. There we go. We got our the person on the cover itself. It's none other than Uta. This is such a lovely looking promo. Man, I really love how the cards look like. They look absolutely awesome. And our last one is none other than Sengoku, looking all fearsome in his Buddha form. And this is such a great promos. I really enjoy these promos. They are definitely going into the binder, so I'm gonna put them right there. And also, just like in the rest of the tournaments, players were allowed to purchase a championship set. That's where I got this Luffy playmat from the first championship set. But I didn't open the one that I got, which was the one with featuring Ace, but I did get the promo for the championship event. You can see the championship One Piece logo on the card itself. I just have it in the one touch because I wanted to kind of keep it and display it somehow. But this is Eustace Kid and the promo looks damn great. They're all done by the same artist. Niji Hayashi. I'm really sorry if I'm butchering the name, but I love the promo. And now I have all 3 promos together. We have the Monkey D. Luffy, we got the Trafalgar Law, and we have the Eustace Kid. This is none other the worst generation is finally here. Now I feel like Yugi holding the 3 Egyptian god cards for some reason, because you know, these cards look great and they look great as a set. So hopefully this will make their way into the English release so that you guys can pick them up during the championship event. And yeah, it's a great card to add into the collection. So there you go. I just wanted to recount my experience playing the tournament. I know this is a long video, so I hope if you watched it all the way through, I really thank you for watching the videos and for always supporting the content. I really want to help newer players with their first experience playing these big tournaments. I know a lot of people who have started for the One Piece card game are not people from other TCGs. So this is their first TCG, and this will be their first official card game and first time playing like maybe competitively. So any help that I can provide, I would love to. But just let me know. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section below and I'll try my best to answer them, or we'll do another video on talking about that. But anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed playing the tournament. I really loved the whole experience. As much as I love commentating, I also love being a player for this lovely amazing game, and I truly enjoyed myself. Thank you for everyone who said hello to me throughout the day and who told me that, oh, I actually watch your videos, and it's a really cool feeling. I really appreciate it. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Probably will be back with more. Gonna post more content soon, so be sure to look out for that. Make sure to hit like on this video, subscribe, and stick around for more One Piece card game content. Anyway, hope you guys have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Peace.